Yeah, let's see. Yeah, call a special meeting of August 26th, 2025. Um, is there a motion for the previous minutes of the last meeting?
I move we accept the previous minutes as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So carry. Okay, we have a application for 133 North Railroad Street, North Canaan. Gary, would you like to come up and fill us in exactly?
Or section here?
Yeah. Pull that around. Well, that's okay.
Well, first off, thank you guys for, meeting special on short notice. I appreciate that. Little backstory, the property that I have is right on Railroad Street, right across from the car wash, 131, 133. You guys might have remembered it years ago as the Style Off Salon. I bought that property back in 99 and it was a mixed use property, part commercial, part residential. Property consists of two buildings. There is the Cape building, which was commercial for quite some time. And then the two-family home sits on 0.51 acres. It's one property, one piece of land with two buildings. The two-family house was built in 1910. My property was built in 1993. I purchased it, like I say, in 99. In about 2001, Angie Gomez was renting the my house, which I live in now, as her hair salon, and she had approached me about splitting the property and purchasing that building from me. So I met with zoning back in, I think it was 2002, and inquired about what was involved in dividing the property. Back then, it was reviewed. It fit all the criteria, had the minimum acreage required, had town water, town sewer, all the setbacks were good. But at that time, she just wasn't ready to pull the trigger, so nothing ever happened with it. I understand in 2005, the regs changed where the minimum parcel size needed to be a half acre once it was split. So I'm here today to apply for a variance where all I'm actually looking to do is just divide the property basically in half. I'm at a point in life, I'm going to retire. I'd like to sell the rental property, keep the house for myself. So as far as I understand, it still fits all of the requirements with the exception of the minimum acreage required. It has all the setbacks, it has the road frontage, town sewer, town water.
Is the driveway, when you split that, both sides will have their own driveway?
No, the second driveway is right here. So there are two options. I could either, well, it's three options. I could either jog the property line to include the driveway with this property, or if allowed, this driveway could be moved here. This could be a right of way and they could have parking in the back, or I could work in a right of way easement into the deed. So there's another driveway here. This is the second one. I'd be more than happy to give access on my property to parking on that other piece.
So this has always been two separate households.
Correct.
So this has never really been, I mean, it's way back when even, it's always been two separate pieces.
It's two buildings on one property. We
Right.
researched it all the way back to 1948, and it was always one piece of property with two buildings.
So you guys kind of got caught by inaction more than anything else because it just didn't pay to even do it.
Exactly. Yeah. But, now I'm at that point, and from what I understand too, that the goal when the acreage was increased was not to have multiple buildings on a small lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of buildings that were brought in And I believe that was the development down on West Main Street.
Yeah.
A lot of houses were put in. I have no intentions on doing any more development with it. Again, alls I'm looking to do would be to be able to sell off the rental property, keep my house, and, just be able to have it as two separate pieces of land.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a problem with it because I think basically it's always been two separate pieces. It's just one landowner. So,
Yeah.
I kind of feel for you because I have the same problem going on with us. I mean, we have more space, but there's a market that my wife has, that's her business, but
Mhm.
my brother and I own the property underneath it. So,
Mhm.
I mean, she sleeps with me, so that's okay. But,
Right, right.
you gotta really separate those things out.
Yeah, it's been pretty much a nightmare from day one, because when I first bought it, it was mixed use. I had a hell of a time getting a mortgage. Nobody wanted to touch it. I had been a member of Canaan Bank way back in the day.
Yeah.
They were unable to help me. I had to go to Torrington Savings to get a mortgage. It has created problems with insurance, getting insurance. And it's recently created a big problem with the reassessment for taxes because it's way undervalued as two buildings on one property. And if it were divided, it could be treated as two separate parcels, which would increase the value probably about $150,000. So that would help the tax base in Canaan as well.
What's that zoned as?
It's
Central
central business. And plus the thing that I'm a little bit happy about as well is with the housing problems, it would offer an opportunity for another family to be able to purchase a piece of property.
What would be I mean, other than, I don't think we're opening a Pandora's box at all. I think this is kind of, to me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know. What do you
The
guys?
only issue is gonna be the driveway and the parking, right?
Yeah, I think that's.
Whether you do something here to give them that driveway.
Because,
I think it could be an issue trying to get another driveway out onto the road. Another,
well, plus you got, is that tree still there?
It's still there. Yeah,
Right.
this was just recently taken.
so you gotta get them in through here. I think it's gonna be an issue to get a driveway.
So
Another
you don't,
easement onto
this
the
is
state
not
road.
an exit here. It's over here.
No, there's two.
There's
Right
two,
here.
yeah.
So,
Horse
so-
your
So if you could cut this off, you could do something to get them access and parking
Okay,
off of that. Otherwise, you're buying a piece of property with a right of way. Stoney and I know how that works out. Not a good,
Well,
That's good.
it's
Situation.
cleaner, it's cleaner not to have the right of way. It's cleaner to keep the two
Right,
yeah.
completely separate.
okay.
In our, I mean,
I'm not at
lawyer.
all opposed to repositioning that property line.
You know, because if, just looking at, it, if you did bring it down and come in,
Mhm.
the one could have parking space here, then the others could have parking space here,
Okay,
Cause right now you have the cars where they pull in, come in and go this way.
yep,
But if you ever sell it, if you ever do sell either one, you wanna be able to make sure they can get in
right.
and if worse came to worse, they could, like you said, put parking out here into the backyard a little.
Right. Not being familiar with moving existing driveways, this one here, if let's say we kept the property line the way that it was, could it be repositioned here? Or does that get into
I don't know how that really works with the state
You'd have to
easement.
go through the state and get.
And
a
then you
driveway.
had sidewalk there and all the other.
yeah, it's not adding a driveway, it's just shifting it 10 feet one way.
So this sidewalk actually is part of this goes right past your place.
Yep.
Excuse me.
I don't know
Yeah.
which would,
Now, what's the distance from the house to that line? Do you have
I believe it's 42 feet between them.
Is that about the center line between them?
It's exactly center line. What I did is this is 122 feet.
Yeah.
So this is 61 to this. That's 142 feet, so it's 71. Just right there where I put it. So
Oh, yeah,
so it's
okay.
basically dividing the front and back borders right in half.
So I know you need a 10 foot. I know the zoning requires at least a 10 foot setback from the driveway. So you'd probably have to do something back here for parking.
Okay,
Or if you did move that, what you could do is get a hold of the state, see if they'll allow you to move your driveway. That would probably be the easier way.
okay.
Is there room enough so you can turn so you can drive out of the driveway?
Um,
Eh.
if that dividing line ended up where it's shown, it pretty much would be at the back of the cars. You know, I would say a car would probably come right about, to there.
Yeah.
So when people do pull in, depending on which direction you're coming from, they usually come in this driveway and then pull straight ahead. There's enough room for excuse me, 5 cars pulled straight ahead.
They get
And-
out, they
and then
gotta
they
back
back up and
onto
they go
the other
out.
property.
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe in this particular case, a right of way might be the better solution because you're gonna kind of tie yourself you don't want to back out onto a highway.
Correct. Right.
So if you could figure out a way to make it so there's right of ways from both houses for the parking lot somehow.
I'm not at all opposed, to deeding a right of way.
I just don't know the cleanest way to do it.
No, right away is, like I said,
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
who's plowing it, who's sanding it, who's responsible, if somebody slips and falls.
Then the other person's yelling at the other one, they're making.
Who's
Trust me, we've been through.
Yeah, who's parking
Okay.
on who's responsible for the snow removal?
Yeah.
It's just, it does get a little messy.
Yeah.
What is this structure right here?
In the back, it's a shed. It's
This is a shed?
yeah, about a 10 by 12 shed.
Is this a driveway back there?
It was when Angie Gomez had it as a hair salon, she had a parking lot in the back. And that's since been growing in and covering over. Nobody parks out back now. I park out in front of my building here.
So what's the setback off the shed to the property line?
I don't have that off the top of my head. It's got to be at least, well, because this is the garden here. The shed is
Oh,
actually
shed's over
underneath.
there,
Yeah,
alright.
yeah, that's a garden.
So
The
you got-
garden's
you
at
got
least
plenty of room there.
12 feet and the
Yeah.
shed is in front
Yeah,
of that.
You got your setback.
Yeah, that was all permitted as well too, so there should be paperwork on that.
Well, actually, it's not our particular forte to tell you how to do your parking. That's up to you. What we have to do is decide whether or not we're gonna allow you to split the property.
Okay.
And so that's what the variance is for, is to be able to split the property. And whether you put it, a little jog here and figure out your parking that way, or however you do your parking is gonna be your problem down the road.
Okay.
This committee, I think, just needs to approve your ability to have a variance to be able to do conceptually what you want to do. Is that right?
Mhm.
So in my opinion, I think it's a valid hardship for this particular property. And I think we should grant the variance. So I'll make a motion to
Okay.
that effect.
Oh. I just had another question.
Sure, Jim.
There's something in here about a handicap ramp. Is that you too?
No, that was taken off. That's when Angie had that when she had the salon. So
Alright,
that's been
so that's,
removed.
all right.
And the neighbor, what is why did you bring in the neighbors? What was this?
In the application, it asks for the neighbors. I assume that they're sent a letter.
Okay.
Something about that,
Yeah.
just a notification.
Yeah, well, actually,
Do we need a letter from them?
basically, you're not doing any building, all you're doing is subdividing.
Yeah.
Dividing.
We're not.
It doesn't affect
Encroaching
any,
Or anything, yeah.
any boundaries or common boundaries.
Yeah.
Common orders.
Yeah, that's the thing, is this is really not a construction thing at all. All you're doing is you're allowing whoever lives in that house to own the property under the house.
Well, this is also set up precedents for for other people with a lot size like this.
Well,
Able to say, I want to divide my property.
yeah, but that's not
This is
property
two separate dwellings.
Yeah.
And it always has been.
Right.
It's not that you were living in two dwellings, using them, and now you decided that you want to make one a rental, and
Right.
Or you
it's
would-
always been two separate.
Yeah, that's why I say this thing kind of is just letting the
Right.
property under the house be owned by the occupant.
Right.
Because it's, to me, this is not really where you would want to subdivide to build another house. You already have the house. there.
Right.
Right, exactly.
You're not looking to add.
Right.
And everything was built prior to 2005 zoning reg
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the newest one, my house was 93.
Right,
when it was built.
yeah, I was reading that.
And it was, like I say, it was all approved. It fit all the criteria. I think it was 2002. When I met with zoning to find out what was involved in splitting it. And, yeah, at that point, it was all, approved, but I never did anything with it.
I'll second Matt's motion.
What's that?
I second Matt's
That we,
motion.
okay.
that we approve the variant.
Variance is split. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of Matt's motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion so carried.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think you had to talk to whoever you're using for your lawyer or whatever. You might want to
Okay.
ask them what would be the best way to
Yeah,
figure out
that
the
driveway.
issue with parking, because like you said, these right of ways can get a little bit messy.
Yeah, I know someone, an old friend that had that, and they had it all spelled out, it was all written out. There was a signed agreement. There was like a fund that, all families involved contributed to pay for
Right.
repairs,
Something like
that sort
may
of thing.
work.
And, I actually, this all kind of came about because I approached Greg Karchevsky about, because I know he buys properties, and he's actually very interested in it. Now, Greg and I, we've been long family friends for years and years, and I'm confident that if we did do a right of way, there wouldn't be a problem. We could work it all out. Now, are you saying that the variance is dependent on not having a right of way, or would that be kind of up to
That's
me this
all I
time?
knew.
That's not-
Okay,
That's all I knew.
okay,
I think what we approved was you being able to have the variance to split the property.
okay,
Whether this moves 5 feet over this way or 10 feet that way. That-
Or,
that's up
or
to
if you do the driveway, or if you do something different straight in and have
Okay.
something, that's up to you to work it out.
Okay. I did mention that to Greg because I knew that could be one of the options, and it really is a beautiful backyard.
Mhm.
You can't really tell by the picture, but these trees my neighbor planted for me, and they're these 20 foot tall weeping willow trees, and the backyard's really beautiful. And Greg's like, I'd really hate to put parking back there, because it's
Yeah.
such a nice yard. But that was a thought, if I could move the driveway over, you could come down, that's plenty wide to come down and then park in the back, but if you are okay with it, I'd like to explore the right of way more with Greg and propose your concerns and see what he would think. And obviously it would all be done legally with a lawyer, would be an
Yeah,
agreement,
basically
signed
that would
agreement.
be all up to you then.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And
Yeah.
the only thing you might have to do if you gotta move the boundary, you just
Yep.
gotta get the surveyor to do it
Yep.
for you. Then file it with the town hall, so. it's
But
all-
we pretty much approved to do
Yeah.
this. You can't take the property line and do, if
right,
you're really gonna change, you're gonna come over here or something, that's fine. But if
exactly.
you're really gonna change property lines, I think he's gotta come back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be the
But
only
It's
change,
just to allow the,
Allow for parking.
allow
yeah.
for parking, okay. Yeah, I knew there were setbacks, and this is, I think, 40, I think it's 42 feet. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 42 feet, so it's 21 feet each side once it would be divided.
Yeah.
Which is more than enough for a driveway, correct?
Yeah.
correct.
Okay,
Correct.
so if that had to shift, even if it shifted towards me, one way and then
No,
kind of
right.
came out a little bit to give them access to
Right.
back out. I don't know how quite that would work as far as even if we did shift that border, let's say conceptually, we kind of went this far over, they would probably still have to back onto my
Right.
property to get out.
That's
Yeah.
between you and them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
But talk to your lawyer, try to keep it as clean as possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
as
I
simple as
mean,
possible.
No
Yeah.
offense, we're all getting older, you're getting older. You don't wanna deal with young kids, you know,
Yeah.
try to
Well,
keep it clean.
it's funny, Richard Fallon was my tenant for 26 years. And he had been in that first floor apartment for the last 9, and he just passed away back in January,
Right.
pancreatic cancer. And I'm still working on it because I hadn't done anything there for so many years.
yeah,
This used to have an open porch that's been enclosed. Now it's a bathroom, and I remodeled the old bathroom and repairs to the foundation and been doing a lot of work. It's been my nights and weekends for
Yeah.
months. And as I look at my life and where I want to be, my next chapter, cleaning gutters and
Right.
climbing ladders doesn't,
Right.
isn't part of
And a
it.
landlord isn't part of it.
Yeah, exactly. So if I sell this, it, is an opportunity for me. I can pay off my mortgage, put a little money in the bank. So the next chapter for me is going to be a lot easier. So.
Okay.
Fantastic. So, what would be my next step from here? To contact a lawyer or surveyor?
You'd have to work it out with him, whatever you wanna do with it.
yeah, no, you
Okay.
gotta get it surveyed, so you have the deed is proper.
Okay,
And
Yeah,
then
okay.
that's gonna be where you have the permission to do what you wanna do,
okay,
but you gotta get it done legally and you gotta get the deeds done. It's
I
gonna
understand.
be a few
Yeah.
bucks to do it.
Yeah, no, I understand. And that's okay. It's the big picture that
Yeah,
I'm
right.
looking for.
At least I mean, it's a kind of an easy split, so.
Luckily, yeah, exactly. And the fact that it's got all of the setbacks and it's got the road frontage, it's got the sewer and water, it really makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's a pretty clean spot.
Yeah.
So, and I won't have all that grass to mow. So I'm very excited about that. Fantastic. Thank you.
Very good.
Good luck with it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay. I will keep you guys posted, and
Yes.
Cheryl's been a great help as well. She kind of helps guide me through the process and George as well.
Yeah.
So excellent. All
Good.
right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good
Good
Have a
evening.
good
Good
night.
night.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Is there anything else coming before this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second it?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So carry, meeting adjourned.
So just out of curiosity,